When we used to hang out, we always had kind of similar cars. When we were driving BMWs, like you had the sedan, I had the coupe. Mine was stick, yours was automatic. But I was always trying to get you to come to the track with me. And you were always kind of into it.
Well, I was scared.
And that's what you kind of... So, but now you're the host of Top Gear.
Right.
So
I'm forced to go to the track.
And now you're like a car guy.
I know. How about that?
Well, it's amazing.
I was always a car guy.
Like,
thanks.
Whoa, what the fuck?
I was always a car guy growing up, but then I moved to New York, and there's no reason to even give a shit about cars in New York City. You know, you take the train every day. My wife and I had a hand-me-down Corolla for about a year, which I would drive like a 5-speed Corolla. And I would make it in like 12 minutes from the Daily Show to Brooklyn. And it's like the Daily Show is in 50-something street.
Yeah.
So I was I was a stock car racer in that crappy Corolla. Because I was a car guy, but I never had an outlet for it. And then I got to LA and I realized like you could have cars here. You could drive. And it was never about driving for me before. It was about appreciating cars. And now I can actually drive them. And then Top Gear came along. And I had always I planted in the media that my love of cars only so I'd get those weekend loaners.
Yeah, the
car deal. Hey, here's a Jaguar F-Type for the weekend. We'll try and sell it to you later, but just enjoy it.
At the very least, we want
That's what I
pictures
wanted, and I never got it. But Top Gear called, and they were like, we want you to be on the show. And before they finished the sentence, I was like, absolutely. Because
did you really? I was going to ask if you were hesitant at all.
Never for 1 second.
That surprises me.
I also had no idea what I was getting into. But
you were aware of Top Gear. You knew that it was a worldwide cultural phenomenon.
Of course, I knew Top Gear, but it's when you think about doing the things that they did and do, and the things now we're just trying to top stuff. Yeah. It's always terrifying, and it took me probably about 6 or 7 episodes to get into it and to understand it and to be like, all right, I became more brave in my actual life.
Oh, because
it's going around a track, hitting a corner at 80 miles an hour is terrifying, especially for someone without the opportunity, without the experience. I don't have any experience doing that.
Totally.
And next thing you know,
why would
3
you turn
weeks
the wheel
ago,
at this speed?
3 weeks ago, I didn't understand braking, and that's a good thing to do.
Car control.
Weight control. Yeah, put the weight on the front. I didn't know that. And so and then now cut to 3 or 4 weeks ago, I'm doing 188 at a Lamborghini, and I'm like, and now we're on hiatus, and I miss it. I miss it so much. I miss it.
Do you miss the guys or shooting or all?
I miss the guys. I miss being able to drive anything. I like driving crappy cars. There's one car I hated during the whole experience on Top Gear.
So there was or there wasn't?
There was one car.
What was
it? The Saab 900 Turbo.
Oh, the old one.
What a piece of crap.
But wasn't it even the one? It's even the one that I would still want today, the SPG, right?
It's the worst. You don't want it.
My memories are...
This was the Future Classics episode.
Yes.
And one of the producers was like, hey, what about this car? Saab's. And I was like, oh, I should take his advice. Never take their advice. That's the lesson I've learned, is because, first of all, it's hard to get cars. He just wants to get the car done and get on to the next one.
Oh, like this
one's
also
available. I hate Saabs. I've never liked them. And I thought, well, maybe there's something to this. And then I got in there. I couldn't find any gears. And I'm like, mwah. And oh my God, the transmission, I ruined the transmission. It wouldn't even leave the line after a while. It was...
I think that didn't you have to walk away from it on the show?
I walked away from it, yeah.
Wow.
And that was also one of those moments where I was like, maybe it could maybe move, but I was like, I'm walking away.
No, this is better.
Go ahead, shoot your beauties without me. I'm going home.
But
I couldn't stand it.
It was killer.
Couldn't stand it.
There have been, the original guys, what is it, Clarkson, May, and Hammond?
Yeah.
There have been so many attempts at recreating that isn't really fair, but there have been so many different amalgamations of people trying to do another triplet of car guys in the Top Gear.
Right.
And I'm friends with some of them. I mean, Adam Ferrara is a good friend. He's been here. I really enjoyed that series. All of this to say, the three of you, in my opinion and both of our opinion, have captured more of whatever we were looking for and couldn't find and replace all of the different times. There's something there in the chemistry of the relationship. You guys, you, Dax, and Jethro, have it. And I'm not trying to compare you in any way to Clarkson and May and Hammond.
Right.
Totally different show, different people. But there's something that is captivating about the chemistry that if you turn it on, you're not going to turn it off. And that's something that hasn't, even the Grand Tour doesn't have it.
Well,
The original Top Gear had.
No, I hear what you're saying, and that's the whole show is not about cars necessarily. The original, it's about the relationship between the three, and I didn't even realize that until I met Jethro. It was Dax and I were cast. We were offered the roles, and then we had a chemistry read where we did a bit walking around a couple cars with I think about 14 or 15 people, and Jethro was right in the middle, and we didn't even know who he was. And he, by the way, he's like a huge person on the scene, right?
Yeah.
Like he's the guy, and we just got along with him famously, and that's when it clicked. I don't know about maybe for Dax, but definitely for me. Like, oh shoot, this is it. We got to get this guy. And Dax and I just really pushed for Jethro because it felt like Top Gear, you know. And now we're a couple of years in, and we're best friends. And
that's unlike those other three, because those other three don't even really like each other. Yeah.
I don't want to know.
That's funny.
I imagine them all still like just living in the same house, like the Beatles and Help or something.
Right.
Like I know. It's
more the Mythbusters.
Yeah. But like,
great duo.
Dax is our Clarkson, I guess you could say, and he's probably way easier to get along with.
I wouldn't even make a comparison with any of them, but I
well,
guess
he's
so.
like the head
lead
guy, like he's the head producer.
Yeah.
Head producer. He's a producer and
Presenter.
like head host, head presenter.
Right?
As
the BBC does.
It's so great. And those two, I'm lucky because those two have a huge competition that I'm not really a part of.
Oh,
because they can always beat me
stuff.
Racing. So when I win, it's uncomfortable. And because I don't care about winning as much as they do.
Weren't you the big winner on some of these things? You are the big winner a couple times. Yeah, that's
hey,
cool.
Listen, check the stats.
Yeah, that's cool.
But when I win, they're like, "Hey, we all won, right?"
Oh yeah, right. Team effort.
Just because we proved our
Best
point
ball.
doesn't mean no. I won.
Do you? This is still on Top Gear, but do you remember Greg Grumberg?
Yeah.
He was here on Tuesday, and after the cameras were done rolling, we were talking about Top Gear and you guys. And again, this is the original show had that studio vibe.
Yeah.
And a few different shows have tried to recreate that, not to any great success.
Yeah.
We were both saying that should budget come out of nowhere, and should that type of thing ever be thrown your way as an opportunity, you guys are the guys who could probably support that format.
Yeah, but I'm glad they didn't do it.
Really?
At the beginning, yeah.
In the
I
beginning.
was bummed out at the beginning that they weren't doing that because it was part of the plan originally, but they decided not to, probably because of budget, and also like who would give a shit about these three dudes that no one knows about, or they know about from other things, right?
Well, at least let's see if they give a shit. So I
and
agree
now,
with that.
But it's not part of the future plan.
Awesome.
Like if it works out that way, if we feel like, I mean, we're on an app. I mean, we're just on the Motor Trend app. Like if it comes to the point where where the show is worth it, I think it would be great. Yeah.
For us, we're never looking at the numbers. It's solely a quality assessment. The show is good enough. You guys are good enough.
I think so. I mean, there's no numbers. Mm-hmm. It's on an app.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
which is great. Like, there's zero numbers. We may as well be the best TV show in the world.
Ever on an app.
Let's just say we are. But, it's...
As long as you're having fun with it. I
It's
mean, if
the
you miss it in
best.
the off season, that's incredible.
I really do. I really, really do. And, it's like any job. You go to it and you're like, ugh. It's 8 a.m. I'm
Got to get up for work.
driving a Saab around a crappy track around Willow Springs or whatever. But then at the end of the day, you're kind of bummed out that it's over, because I get to drive so many crazy cars,
What's your favorite thing you've done so far? I think we're up to episode 10, I think.
Favorite thing I've we've done.
Yeah, on the show-
probably
on the
the
show, sorry.
overlanding episode. That's where I
that.
really clicked into it
That was
because I
season
picked
1A.
one thing I'm good at on that show because the other two are so experienced. I have to think about it. You know, I have to do research and like I picked the right car. I picked this like early model Highlander, like the overlanding car, and these
Yeah.
guys had ridiculous cars for
That
it.
was the one with the waterbed, right?
That's
the van
exactly
with the
right.
waterbed.
And I won that episode like hands down. And I was just like, I felt 10 feet tall when I walked out of that. Whereas before, I always felt like uncomfortable and nervous and scared and
Whoa.
like maybe I'm not right for this show. But after that, everything changed.
Locked
So
it
I'd
in.
say that was probably my best experience on the show.
Also, probably my most enjoyable episode to watch.
Go ahead.
No, that one. That one.
Oh,
The
yeah?
same one. It was so enjoyable to watch.
I
It was
just like
so
pulling
fun,
my
hopping-
knife out of my belt and
To stab
cutting into
the
that
waterbed.
stupid waterbed. I wanted to do that since he said he had a waterbed back there. I was like, I can't. I'm gonna put my knife on my because I had a knife in my. I have a Sprinter camper, and I would drive it to sets. You know, we
Oh,
were
you actually own one.
yeah,
Oh,
we
that's
were in
awesome.
Arizona, and I always have that in the thing.
In the rider.
In the yeah, and so no, not in the rider.
I thought it was.
I need a big hunting knife as big as my forearm and a full length mirror. That's all I need. No, so I just had it in the camper, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put my knife on my belt, and I'm gonna cut into that thing. I'm gonna get myself wet, humiliating him."
The moment he said it, I started doing what you guys eventually
Yeah,
did on the show, which
it's
was
like-
just the math. I was like, all right, it's like 8
It's like
pounds
900
per gallon.
pounds. It's ridiculous. And he's in a fully compromised vehicle to begin with. You know, those E350s that were like
Like economy van or
modified
whatever, yeah.
that and those are already like even
Conversion
on the
van.
day those conversion vans they were unreliable. And this is
With a
30
regular
years
bed on the
later.
back.